Hey everyone! If you're a Washington Commanders fan like me, you know the last few weeks have been a test of patience for all of us. If you think the score of the last game, a very tight win against the Giants, was a reason to breathe a sigh of relief, I've got news for you. Don't be fooled. Washington's defense is falling short and it could cost us dearly in the coming weeks. Today, I'm going to show you exclusive details that no one else has seen. First things first, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell, because if you're a Commanders fan, you won't want to miss any analysis or hot news about our team. Let's build this passionate community together and discuss the future of the team we love so much. And of course, comment below what you thought of the last game. Was the victory deserved, or did the defense give you the chills, huh? Now, back to the topic. Everyone's talking about the narrow victory against the New York Giants, but what few people are commenting on is that this victory came with a lot of luck. We saw a defense that allowed too many plays, especially on the perimeter. And if it weren't for kicker Graham Gano's injury right at the start of the game, would the result have been the same? Gano could very well have decided the game at the end with a field goal. Instead, the Giants were forced to attempt a fourth down, and we got lucky that rookie wide receiver Malik Neighbors made that almost game-saving throw at the end. That's the question. Are we relying too much on luck? The Commanders' defense remains vulnerable, especially on the sides. This isn't news to those of us who follow the team, but it's frustrating to see that even with the arrival of Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr., things don't seem to be improving at the pace we expected. And that's where the concern comes in. In the last 15 possessions by opponents, our defense has given up 7 touchdowns and 3 field goals. That's alarming. For a team that wants to compete in the playoffs, we can't allow this kind of performance. And here's something that really worries me. If the defense keeps giving these openings, the offense will have to play catch-up. And, man, that's not good for the development of our young quarterback Jayden Daniels. You've seen what happens when a rookie QB starts to feel like he needs to save the team on every play. The pressure increases, the chances of errors increase, and we end up forcing more passes, which exposes Jayden to more risks. And the last thing we want is to see the franchise's future compromised because of a defense that can't hold the game. Now, I know some of you will say, but Dan Quinn was a monster as a defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, and Joe Witt Jr. has a solid resume as a secondary coach. Yes, I agree, but the point is the problem in the tactical scheme or in the available talent? I'm honestly starting to wonder if the front office gave the coaching staff the right pieces to build a competitive defense. In the game against the Giants, we saw the Commanders being repeatedly attacked on the perimeter, and what's more frustrating is that this problem isn't new. We already knew that outside cornerback was a weak point, and yet, the solutions we have on the roster aren't working as they should. Emmanuel Forbes Jr., who was one of our hopes, didn't play well before undergoing thumb surgery. And his replacements? Michael Davis and Noah Igbenogany, 2 veterans who are here on short and cheap contracts, simply couldn't keep up with Malik Neighbors, who finished the game with 127 receiving yards. Seriously, this is unacceptable. Saint-Juste, who did have a solid game and forced a fumble, said that allowing quick and short passes was part of the game plan. That's because the week before the defense was burned on longer passes. Forcing the Giants to advance slowly down the field can work if you make the necessary tackles. And once again, the defense failed. If we don't fix this quickly, we'll continue to suffer. And speaking of tackles, even the players admitted that this is something that needs to be urgently adjusted. It's no use having a good defensive scheme if the execution fails when it comes to making basic plays. Dan Quinn has already realized that the cornerback position is a serious problem, and it seems he hasn't found the right answer yet. On Sunday, he even took Davis off the field at one point to put in Igbenogany, who, for those who don't remember, was a first-round pick in 2020 and never established himself with the Dolphins or Cowboys. So the question remains, what's the solution? The only other cornerbacks available are Bobby Price and Chigozie Anusium, who are on the practice squad. If they haven't been inserted into the rotation so far, it's fair to question how much they can really help. And honestly, the free agent market isn't full of great options, so it seems we're in a tough situation. Another concerning point is how opponents are taking advantage of this weakness on the perimeter to neutralize our highest-paid defensive players, like Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne. They're monsters in the interior line, but if the opposing offense is releasing the ball quickly, they don't have time to make a difference. In the first 2 games, Allen and Payne combined for only 5 tackles and 2 quarterback hits. That's not what we expect from 2 stars with million-dollar contracts. In the locker room, Players continue to affirm that communication is improving and that cohesion will come with time. But let's face it, we've heard this speech before. When Ron Rivera was the coach, the same story repeated itself. We're almost there. We just need to adjust a few details, and so on. And the results? Nothing changed concretely. So, will it be different now? Jonathan Allen, one of the team's leaders, said after the game that they're applying what they practice, but they still can't transfer it to the game. He's been saying this several times over the years, and I don't know about you, but I'm getting impatient. We want to see action, not excuses. Not. Now, we have some hot news with a bittersweet flavor, so sit tight, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell because you won't want to miss this. If you're a loyal fan who follows every play, you know that, now more than ever, we need to talk about what went down this past Sunday at the newly renamed Northwest Stadium. Our team secured a 21-18 victory over the Giants, but it was by a thread, and the day was saved by a piece we never imagined would have such an impact. The new kicker, Austin Seibert. And I know, folks are excited about this win, but can we really celebrate? First, let me give you some quick context. Seibert was signed on Tuesday, and in less than a week, the guy made history wearing the Commanders jersey. It was a perfect performance, 7 for 7 on field goals, breaking the franchise record. He sealed the victory with a 30-yard kick as the clock was winding down. And the craziest part is that just a few days ago, he was unemployed, kicking balls at a tree in his backyard. Yes, you heard that right. Sounds like something out of a movie, doesn't it? But before we think everything's solved now, let's be honest. This victory came with a lot of struggle, and the team still has a lot to improve. Now think about it. How is it possible that in a game where our rookie quarterback DIDN Daniels had a solid performance with 226 passing yards and 79.3% completion rate, we had so much trouble closing out the score on important downs? There were 10 penalties and 6 trips to the red zone without converting for a touchdown. This isn't news to us, right? The Commanders have been struggling to finish drives for a while now. What saved us this time was Seibert's sharp foot, and I'm saying this as a fan, okay? Because anyone who watched the game knows there were moments when we thought, this is the day we're going to embarrass ourselves. Speaking of redemption, we can't forget to mention how crucial Brian Robinson Jr. was in this game. The guy rushed for 133 yards on 17 carries. That's more than impressive. Together with Austin Eckler, they've managed to create a formidable duo that could be the support Daniels so desperately needs. But here comes the frustration. As much as the offense produced incredible plays, like Zach Ertz's receptions, the wasted chances and penalties put us in trouble. This team has potential, but it's sabotaging itself. And honestly, it's frustrating to see that even with so much talent on the field, we're still letting the game slip through our fingers. But wait, let's not lose focus. This victory had a special flavor, especially because of the fans who packed the stadium. We were there, cheering, pushing the team, and despite the mistakes, walking away with the win was a relief. Of course, we still have a lot to improve, but beating the Giants, even if it was a struggle, was important to boost the morale of this young roster full of new faces. What's worrying is that the old problems are still there. Penalties, unnecessary sacks, missed plays. When are we going to learn not to be our own enemy on the field? That's the question. Another thing we need to talk about is the defense. The truth is, despite some brilliant plays like the fumble forced by St-Juste and Chin's recovery, the defense is still falling short. We saw some coverage errors like on the Giants' touchdown where Malik Neighbors appeared wide open in the end zone. These mistakes can't happen so frequently, especially on a team that's trying to rebuild itself as a contender. Coach Dan Quinn has already made it clear that he's going to reevaluate some pieces during the week, so let's see if he makes the necessary adjustments. And, look, while Seibert shined on our side, the Giants faced a big problem with their kicker. Graham Gano got injured on the very first play, so their punter had to try the extra point. And guess what? He missed. This put even more pressure on the New York team, who ended up having to attempt 2-point conversions, but failed on all of them. These Giants' failures were crucial for us to hold on to the result, and in the end, it's what guaranteed our victory. But I ask you, will this repeat itself in future games? Now let's talk about a moment that had everyone's heart in their throat. With 2 minutes left, Washington still tried to go for the end zone one more time. Daniels managed an explosive 34-yard play with Noah Brown, and Robinson advanced a bit more on the ground. We thought this time it was going to happen. But once again, history repeated itself. We reached the red zone and couldn't capitalize. What saved us was Seibert, who once again took the field with the cold blood of a veteran and secured the 3 points. At that moment, my friends, the stadium erupted. But can we keep relying solely on Sybert's feat to win games? Well, the truth is that, despite all the problems, this victory was a breath of relief for the fans and the team. After all, winning is always better than losing, but we can't fool ourselves. We have a long road ahead, and if the Commanders want to truly compete this season, they'll need to adjust many pieces. What I can say is that Sybert was the hero of the day, but the team as a whole needs to give a more solid response in the coming rounds. So, fans, what do you think? Does this team have the potential to correct its mistakes and go far, or will we continue to suffer game after game? Now, folks, subscribe to the channel, leave your like, and tell me in the comments. Do you think this was a victory that points to a promising future, or was it just a flash of luck with Sybert saving the day? I want to know your opinion. And of course, the burning question, have we found the missing piece to put this team on track, or are we still far from solving the problems? Stay tuned for upcoming videos because there's a lot more analysis and hot information coming your way.